blue-white approach, which I'm sure will make some people very sad, but now we're back this week. The Baffling Ends didn't really work out last week. I did not think that the Baffling Ends helped the red decks that much. I'm honestly to the point now where I just think you basically have to dodge the red decks. You can't do much more than we have in the sideboard. I do, at some point, want to test like some spyglasses and maybe impeccable timings instead of these Regal Caracols, but like I still like the Regal Caracols in the sideboard because the Regal Caracols can win some of the mid-range matches for you, but like I still feel like I need authority. Anyway, so we moved up. Basically, the only change we've made from one of our previous lists is we now have a third Essence Scatters in the main deck. I think Essence Scatter is extremely good right now. I wanted a fourth, but I didn't know what to put it in over. Also wanted a third Opt, but again, we just don't have a room. And I actually wanted a fourth Settle on the sideboard, but the only way I know to get a fourth Settle on the sideboard is if we somehow get a fourth Essence Scatter in the main, or we get rid of some of the 4Ds and the cats. Couldn't figure out how to do any of that. How to Ascend? I played a red-black Fleet Wheel Cruiser deck last night. I didn't play Ascend. It went pretty good. We started off 3-0, then we lost a very close match that could have went either way. And then we just got trashed by Mono Red, which we wasn't really prepared to beat Mono Red, so I'm fine with that. We don't really have our mana, but this hand's a pretty easy keep. We'll find white mana long before we ever need this, and you generally don't need this until... You generally cycle early cast outs anyway, and you typically don't need one till like turn 5 plus. Sometimes turn 4 if they can like sneak a Chandra through, but generally speaking you don't need one till super late, so... I believe this hand's a pretty good keep, and we just hope we don't see a basic mountain on the other side of the table. Actually, I guess there's a lot of things we don't want to see on the other side of the table. Well, most of the Foul Orchard decks are either Sneaky Snake decks, which were a pretty large favorite versus, at least in Game 1, and then some of them are the... I'm going to go ahead and use the cast out on this. I know we could use Essence Scatter, but after showing a glint, this is going to be a deck that we'll be able to get more value out of the Essence Scatter later, and we might not be able to get value out of the Sensor later. But anyway, we're a pretty large favorite versus this deck in Game 1. Game 2 and 3 can get a little bit harder. The other Foul Orchard decks are sometimes the Mastermind decks, which can be a little bit more difficult. Actually, I'm going to counterspell that too, because that makes any threat that they do get a potentially lethal threat, whereas if we miss on lands or whatever and they sneak a threat through here in a turn or two, it may not kill us without the climb on the table. If we had the white mana for the cast out, I'd have probably let it resolve, but of course we don't. Alright, we'll counterspell that one too. Hey JJ, what's up? We've already missed one land drop, so like that's how you lose this match. It's basically the only way you can lose this match. Game 1. Game 1. I shouldn't say match. It's basically the only way you can lose Game 1. Well, they had apparently only 2 creatures and a lot of removal. Well, we certainly don't need either of them. Uh-oh. Problem o'clock. Haha. No longer a problem. I think we're just going to pass here. We can cast out to look for a counter spell, or we could just cast out whatever they play. I'm just going to let that one resolve. Maybe not. It's a good chance that they have Blossoming Defense here, which is kind of what I'm afraid of, but The odds of hitting a counterspell are just too low. So I'd rather just try to do this. And neither of you are lands, so you're both on the bottom of our deck. Oh wow. Again, to the bottom of the deck. Okay, well we've saw, I think 5 cards on the bottom now. So, like, not hitting that land's kind of poopy, but then again, you know, our opponent's in a bad spot too because of the lands. Alright, so this guarantees give us our 7th land next turn. So basically, opponent has to kill us in 1 attack step max, and he may not even get that chance because we could just like fumigate or something. I don't see that one dealing 27 to us. So alright, so we can flip Dazcanta if we want. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Alright, we'll put that in the graveyard. It doesn't matter. I'm not going to flip it though. There's no point in flipping it because we're going to be tapping out this turn regardless. Don't 27 me, bro. Came in second at Friday Night Magic of Blue White Approach, and the PPTQ next weekend will probably take the deck. Thinking of adding Disallow to the sideboard. I'm running 4 Disallows in my main deck. I think it's just so good versus the blue-black mid-range decks and the blue-black control decks. Like, I'm a large fan of the Disallow. Alright, so versus Sneaky Snake decks, your Essence Scatter's pretty good. Your Ixalan's Bindings and Regal Caracals are good depending upon their lists. Some lists these cards are fantastic versus, some lists these cards are mediocre versus. And a similar thing to the negate, it depends on how many counterspells you think they're going to run, whether you want to negate. But you don't have a whole lot of things to sideboard out in this match. You can generally cut like 1 Search for Azcanta because you're spending your early turns usually on like a Meltdown, a Censor, or an Essence Scatter, or your turn 3 is often used by Disallow. And like ops are always kind of like flex cards. You can take them in, you can take them out. It all depends, but typically until I see more of their sideboard, I typically like to do something similar to this. Though now that we're seeing that these decks are more Hadonna's Climb based, it makes me kind of want some Ixalan's Bindings more than I used to. But I think we're just going to try to play without them. If you see a Lost Legacy or whatever, you have to bring in the Cats, you have to bring in the Nezahals. I'm just not the type of guy that likes to hedge very much. Alright, this hand's incredibly powerful, and they've mulliganed. We're going to take the 1-lander gamble. We have 2 turns to draw 1 land, and then like we get a cycle. If we don't find a second land, we probably lose. If we do find a second land, we probably run away with the game. Well, I should have rephrased. A land that comes into play untapped. Yeah, it's always scary, but I'm just the type of guy that always thinks that my opponent's going to net deck, and Andrew Barrick didn't run Lost Legacy, so like I want him to show me Lost Legacy. All my cards here are pretty close to interchangeable except for the Essence Scatter, so that's probably the one that he easily takes. Moto at its best, immediately draw another Essence Scatter. It's just Moto things. And we're not sad about that. Alright. Opponent hit a Sneaky Snake. They are Sneaky Mana Screwed. Get rid of the sensor first. Pretty locked up on mana here. Kind of just want to play this so I don't have to worry about it later. There's an approach, so now let's just hopefully develop our lands. Wonder if it's ever okay to kill this to lock them off one color of mana. So I only get one green and or one black back. I think I'm going to, but I'm going to cycle first because I would rather draw a land. So they can't play like another snake unless they draw the right land? Stops them from playing duresses if they draw them. If they draw a swamp, they can't... I guess if they drew a swamp, they couldn't play a Jade Light Ranger anyway. We play best card, bottom top. Nice, we hit a land. Puts them an extra land away from being able to cast like a Lost Legacy if they did have that as well. Yeah, well, we have to counterspell that mainly because it turns this land back on and it turns itself on. Alright, they're just done. Alright, well, we beat a sneaky snake deck. Like I said, they're a pretty good match for us. I need to send my friend Gunner to current build. There we go. Cleaned up all the side work. Scoops cheer. Ah, yeah. Goldfishing it up. Next round. Definitely not mulliganing a turn 2 search for Azcanta. We don't have any counter spells, and we don't care. We'll be fine. Hey, Corey. What it is? Stream manager Corey in the house. So they're probably playing vampires. That could give us some problems sideboarding, but game 1 should be okay. You'll often hear that. There's like a lot of decisions sideboarding wise, but game 1s are pretty okay. Pretty always okay. Like, it's rare that the game 1s aren't reasonable. I'm actually just not going to put that in my graveyard. They have a lot of powerful spells that like put 2 and 3 threats on the board, so I wouldn't mind to have at least one hard counter spell. Like, I would counterspell like a Queen's Decree thingy here. I would counterspell a call to the silly next turn. So I like how I call cards just like things like random words because I don't actually know what they're called. Queen's Companion. So it was not Queen's Decree. We have now learned a card's name. I assure you we will forget it quite soon. And there's the approach. Take care of one. Be prepared to glimmer some geniuses. Wow, they really don't have a spell? How good does that feel? They have to have a spell. Aww. They put cast out in their main deck. Well, we want the land. I guess we could keep the censor. It stops horsies. Yeah, we'll keep the censor too. We can scry it away later if we feel like it. Like if he plays something that we can't censor, we'll just scry it and look for a counter spell, and it's the same effect because we have the extra mana. It's only bad if we immediately draw Glimmer of Genius, but we had to draw Irrigated Farmland for it to even be bad with Glimmer of Genius. So, or sorry, yeah, Irrigated Farmland. I come into play tap land, which we didn't have in our hand at the time either. And they do have the 5/5 horses and the Black Champion. A lot of the builds have the Black Champion, which is a 5/5. A lot of the builds have a lot of builds have a Mortal Sun in the main deck. And it resolves, and we're sad about it. Interesting. I kind of want to cast out and get my, or I kind of want to cast out their cast out to get my cast out, cast out, cast out. I want to say cast out a few more times. This lets us Essence Scatter a horse as well. And if he just plays something like another Call to the Feast, hopefully next turn we'll have a land and we'd be able to fumigate or whatever. Legion's Lieutenant. Well, you're an annoying little one, aren't you? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. I guess I'm taking 8 damage? Oh god. What have I done? I'm now taking 3, 6, 9, 12? Well, that's not fun. Check it out. I'm not bluffing Settle the Wreckage because I just want to press F6. Probably going to kill me, by the way. I should definitely always bluff Settle the Wreckage. I don't think their decks can actually play around bluffs, so like I'm not that big and worried about it. Other calls like pretty bad, but like it's the only thing that's bad. Alright. You've did things and we're sad about it. You, my friend, can go away. So they're at 1 card, and we're 6 cards away from winning after our draw step. They drew a horse. I mean, that's pretty good. Let's start by cycling this because it's no good. Well, that's pretty good. So that puts us at 5. This puts us at 4. I made a play mistake. Now I can't use the Rivulet. Oh, that was just a bad play by me. It's just a really bad play by me. Should have used a rivulet first. I shouldn't have censored. I should have waited until end of turn. We could have potentially won. I don't think it's going to matter at all, but like, it definitely could have. I just wasn't paying enough attention there, and I made a pretty pedestrian play. So it's one card after this. Alright. So it didn't matter at all. We have double hard counter spell. They don't even have 2 cards. And we're drawing an approach. Just in case my math's bad, I'll go ahead and counterspell that. Math was not bad. Alright, so this is another match that I kind of want to settle in for. I'm really disappointed that we don't have it. So, when it comes to these black-white vampires lists, they have a lot of different builds that go into them. Like the Kiefer build, for example, a while back didn't have Lost Legacies in its sideboard, but like some of the newer builds do. It all depends on whether you think they have Lost Legacy or not, on how you sideboard. For the most part, I don't typically think they have Lost Legacy, but we bring in Ixalan's Binding in this match for sure. We bring in... What about Council? Oh, sorry. I was just talking about the sideboard. I've not got to the sideboarding yet. You typically bring in a couple negates because they could have Lost Legacy. They bring in Duresses. It's good versus Cast Out. It's good versus Radiant Destiny. It's good versus Queen's Companion. Like, it's good versus a good portion of their deck, basically. And the Regal Caracals, I think, are worth it as well. It's actually kind of hard to beat some of their draws, and like they could easily have Lost Legacy, so that's the main reason I bring in cards like this. I typically cut like 1 Search for Azcanta and 1 or 2 Censors in this match. Usually shave 1 Cast Out as well, just because they run Ixalan's Bindings. I like try to diversify. I think 5 enchantments is enough. But from there, I don't really know what we're supposed to do. They can get aggressive draws, so it feels like the meltdowns are pretty good. They can have just so many different draws is the problem. I think the meltdowns are probably the worst card that's left in our deck. Actually thinking about maybe leaving the option over to Censors. If I knew he wasn't playing Lost Legacy, I wouldn't bother with Regal Caracal, but I think Lost Legacy is too high of a likelihood from a deck like theirs, especially when one of the MOCS lists the other day had Lost Legacy in it. But I think this match is a hard enough match that I want to hedge, and the cats can buy you a lot of time in this match. They can like block 1 big board and gain you a few points of life while trying to let you get another Fumigate or another Settle. Nezahul's not really reasonable because like anytime they just draw like Call to the Feast, it blocks Nezahul 3 times. I don't really like Council. I'm not worried about gaining life, and they don't have any haste creatures, so like it like slows down 1 turn max, and like you can draw it in the late game when it's not that good. Alright, we'll keep this hand. I'm actually going to keep another hard counterspell too. A hard counterspell on 3 is generally pretty good versus them. They can obviously get some fast draws and get underneath that. Like if they just play a spell on 2 and a spell on 3, but like this can stop their calls, this can stop their horses, this can stop a lot of their later threats. And they do run like discard spells and stuff, so like they could easily get the first one. When they look at a hand like this, they probably take Negate if they have a Lost Legacy in their deck. They probably take Glimmer if they don't. Sorry, hand. I said deck, but I meant hand. Approach is the deck I'm most comfortable with, yes. I've played, just on stream, I've played 34 streams with Lost Legacies, or sorry, Approach since, sorry, 24 since Ixalan and like 36 before Ixalan, so just on stream alone, I've played 60 plus leagues with just Approach builds. But Standard's like a customizable format. Like, things change all the time in Standard. Metas change all the time in Standard. Like, how to build the deck and how to play versus decks just change so often in Standard. Yeah, I've got like 60 streams, and I probably played about that much off stream as well. So, the other day during the Almost CS, they were telling win percentages from Magic Online people and stuff like that. So just out of pure curiosity, I opened up all my previous streams on YouTube and like went and looked at the record for all of my Approach streams post Ixalan, and they're like setting at 70%, which I thought was really sweet. I told one of my friends that streams, and he told me that was just plainly impossible, could not happen. But I'm like, just go to my YouTube channel, dude. I can prove it. Anyway, we're just not drawing lands. 25 land deck, you'd think we could draw a land. I'm probably going to discard the Search Rascanta here, as dumb as that sounds, but like, they're not playing threats. So if they're not playing threats, there's a good chance that most of the cards in their hand are like cast outs and binding effects. Or just like 1,000 lands, which 1,000 lands doesn't seem like it's a reasonable thing. I kind of want to use that card. I think I'm going to. I still have Negate and I still have Essence Scatter up, so like we still have a hard counter spell for one thing they can play. While we sit here and get beat to death by this little vampire bro. I've not played blue-white cycling, but I think I played it one time since Rivals. So yeah, he built up that board state, but like, that doesn't just kill us. It's obviously very bad for us. That's one of the reasons we brought in the alternate win conditions. Like, we're certainly not a favorite now. But, I mean, you know, it's turn 8 and we've played 4 lands. I actually think that I have a personal theory that Blue-White Drakehaven is the best deck in Standard, but I am not a good enough player to prove it. Like, the deck is beyond me. I am just not a skilled enough player to prove it. But it's a working theory I have. I think people just look at these blue-white decks and immediately disrespect them and don't put the work in testing them, or don't quite understand how to play them. Like, for example, there was months and months and months in Standard that blue-white approach was more of a turbo fog deck than a control deck, whereas you can see now that it's like it's just clearly a control deck now. Yeah, I think the deck's incredibly powerful. I don't think people give it enough due justice. I'm gonna keep both of these. I feel like every hard counter spell we have is gonna be pretty important in this match. Now that we're like approachless, do we really have to rely on certain cards? I feel. Probably am not going to let him get me down below like 6 or 7 life with this little thing before I decide to deal with it. We have 1 cast out and 2 bindings left in the deck, so I'm willing to cycle 1 more of these cast outs, but if we get another one, we have to hold it. Well, we have all 4 disallows. "12 1-mana cyclers." Actually, possibly. I I would say that's something you could definitely consider. Alright, well, we have our kill condition in play. Rivulet you for 12. Opponent's only got 31 more turns, and then we got him, folks. Yeah, that's actually probably enough to consider it. I'd like to draw like 4 lands in a row. That's not a land. What am I going to discard? Guess I'm going to discard Essence Scatter. No, I'm going to discard Settled Wreckage. Still think my Essence Scatter is good. Probably going to have to discard again this turn. I don't really want to put that on the bottom of my library, but I don't want it in my hand right now. I view Negate similarly. I don't really want either of them on the bottom of my library, but I don't want either of them in my hand at the moment. So we're one more turn away from being able to cast Double Disallow plus some like kind of other effect. This is so thing's done 11 damage so far. They're up to 7 cards too. Like what is their plan? This game has to be pretty atypical, right? It just feels to me like there's no way this is how this match typically plays out. I'm basically looking for lands here. Oh cool, we found 3, so we can discard one. I don't think Attack Me for 9 is going to work. They have to have something. They have 7 cards in their hand. I'm not going to let them attack me too many more times before I just fumigate. This is probably the last turn I'll let them attack me before I fumigate. Yes, before I fumigate for a 1/1 vampire, bro. 32 cards deep. We've put several on the bottom of Scries, and we've not saw a Regal Caracol yet. He's very likely just to take one of these anyway. I don't want him to see it, so... Still have 7 cards in their hand. I think opponent's playing this game very well. Alright, you got me. Get that vampire out of here. I've had enough. I've had enough. Leave me alone. They'll probably get to resolve something this turn, and I'll probably be very sad. Yeah. Not a big fan of counterspelling that, but whatever. We do what we have to do in these trying times. Um, it depends on what the meta is. Like, sometimes I love it, sometimes I hate it. I assume he's going to Lost Legacy Regal Caracol now. I think this is what he's been setting up for. And I'm not worried about this at all. Like, I'm going to probably try to kill him with the Rivulets, I guess. But he still has 5 cards in hand, so, like, I feel like we're in, like, super bad shape now. I've liked Gideon. Gideon's really good if, like, the format's particularly aggressive or whatever. So basically we can draw no extra cards this game right now. We're both just playing the F6 war. Oh, never mind. I thought he was just F6ing. I guess he's not. That's a Dusky Boy? You can have a Dusky Boy. Dusky Boy lets you draw a card. Oh yeah, Ixalan's Binding, baby. Some point we're going to want to play that. So we've hit 16 of our lands so far. Damn, there's still 9 lands left in our deck. There we go. That's the insurance policy I was wanting. Yeah, I'm playing versus Suncrested Vampires. And right now they're putting it to me right now. So Vampires doing the business. Counterspell that. Don't want him to see our hand at all. There's a negate on the bottom of the deck that I want to draw, so I'm like kind of shuffling here. And a settled wreckage that we've put on the bottom as well. So we both failed to find. And I hit a land anyway. I'm planning on milling him. Probably going to do that pretty soon. It's probably going to be what I do this turn. I was hoping he'd get lands and not be thinking about the mill plan. Immortal Sun. Players can't activate at the beginning of your draw step. Draw an additional card. Creatures, spells you cost 1 less to cast. Creatures you control get +1/+1. Alright, deal. You got me. I'll take my 2. And we're going to mill him now, I guess. See what we get. If nothing else, we get to see his entire deck. Basically. I mean, not his entire deck, obviously, but like basically his entire deck. So he brought in Profane, so that's something we have to worry about. There's a horse, there's a cow. No, we have a big problem because of these calls. Alright. So he's going to be drawing 2 cards a turn now. We've really got to try to milk what we have as well as we can. That's a Radiant Destiny. If we didn't draw the Settle to Wreckage, he would have just got us, wouldn't he? Luckily, we drew a Settle to Wreckage. It's the last one in the deck, though. Sure. Alright, so that's the 4th duress, that's good, and that's only 2 Call of the Feast, that's not good. We need to draw our extra negate, which is why we shuffled our deck. We really need to draw a negate. He's going through 3 of his queens, so he's got 2 more creatures like that. Another Radiant's Destiny's pretty good. Could have a problem here if we don't draw the negate. And we didn't draw it. That probably beats us, to be honest. I would say we're dead. We've used all of our fumigates, all of our removal spells. I mean, we gave ourselves every opportunity to draw that negate. If we'd hit it, I think we win. If we don't hit it, I guess we lose. Maybe we can draw like exactly a cast out this turn and get there. So this keeps us alive. Queen's Decree still kills us though, and we know there's 1 left in his library. Hopefully it's on his bottom 3 cards. I don't know what he just played. Oh, he played a Forsaken Sanctuary. The plan's been to mill them for a while though, Tacos, but like I said, we really needed that negate. Yeah, if we hit the gate, we win. We have no out now. It's kind of frustrating. I knew we needed it though, that's why I shuffled our deck with the Field of Ruin. There's no reason not to attack with Vilmal there. That's just a play mistake. He couldn't beat Cast Out anyway. Or sorry, he couldn't beat Settle to Wreckage no matter what, and this gave me Cast Out for an out. Like, this was just a play mistake on board. We sideboarded in all the negates. It just happens that we shuffled our library and didn't get them back. Alright, well, this causes problems. So how exactly do we beat this then? The Essence Scatters weren't particularly good. I don't really want Nezahal. It feels like it's just too hard to beat him with Nezahal, but maybe it's not. Maybe I just don't want any of the Essence Scatters. He left Suncrested Horse in, though, so... Let's just bring in everything I have and hope that somehow some part of it's good enough. Just hope that somehow some part of this is good enough. I definitely don't want you. Definitely don't want the fourth one of you. I definitely don't want you. I definitely don't want you. But I could use any number of these cards and they seem reasonable. Is Essence Scatter better than Censor? It's probably better than Censor. We can get a Dusky Boy in the early game with it. No, I like Censor more. We just can't use either of them, though. Alright, I'm back to taking this out. I don't see, the problem is I don't think our alternate win conditions beat a deck like this. And without our alternate win conditions being able to beat a deck like this, I don't know how we actually beat this deck. If you didn't have Lost Legacy, as you see, it's like a pretty easy game. Like they literally almost can't win if they don't have Lost Legacy, but when they do, things get considerably harder. Because like none of our ground threats are particularly good versus them, as they also have threats, you know, like the Queen and the Colin stuff. And their ground stuff's generally bigger than our ground stuff. I don't like turn 1 duress. I like duress when it's helping you get a card resolved. I don't like just random duress right now, because like none of the cards he takes look like they're gonna matter. I guess maybe he has something that he wanted to stop me from censoring, but like you just play it on 3. Like duress and play it on 3. It's like none of these cards are particularly good to call. By the way, we're struggling on mana for another game. I mean, obviously we could just hit land or something, but we've had some pretty mediocre mana draws tonight. But we were rewarded with a counterspell of sorts. I would have thought Glimmer was the best card in my deck. Does it just mean to have a queen or something, so I can't really get rid of my Censor then? They about just have to have... I don't even want to counterspell that. Alright, we did in fact miss on our land, as we expected. He's playing around Censor, or he doesn't have anything, I'm not sure which. Either or makes us feel pretty good about cycling that and getting to the part of the game where we can cast Glimmer of Genius. So no matter what he plays here, we can at least try to fumigate. Assuming we hit a land in our next 4 cards. Or technically 5 cards. Alright, you're on bottom. You're on top. Alright, that's good enough to use 1 spell on. Don't really care if he casts Lost Legacy on us. Like, we've diversified our threats as much as we can, so we just like really just don't care about that. Don't care about the horse either. Actually care about the horse so little that I'm thinking about just playing this search for Ascanta. I'm trying to develop our lands a little. Maybe it's better to play this. Yeah, I'd rather try to hit a land this turn, I think. I'm going to put anything in the deck that's not a land on the bottom. And we're going to get brutalized when we don't find the land. Wow, what a tilt. That's super tilting. I guess we have to get rid of that one. We have to play this now, I think. He's got 10 power in play. It's just too much. Hopefully he doesn't have a spell here. Mortal Sun's not a bad one. Martyr. Oh, frustrating. A little frustrating, but not the most frustrating thing that's happened to us, so... We still feel like we have a reasonable chance here. Especially now that the Martyr's down to a 3. Alright. He can have all of those he wants. We have to counterspell that. We can't let him draw multiple cards a turn. So untap land makes me feel pretty confident in this game. Oh, wait. Untap land did not make me feel confident in this game at all, did it? I'm just not good at math. Alright, we'll give him one turn to resolve something, have fun. Went over like 10 turns for a 5th land and a 20... Man, we had some games like that last night. You should have saw our Game 3 versus New Perspectives. We feel like absolute geniuses now. Took the disallow, which is okay, because we just want to play Cat Scratch Fevers to try to lock the game up anyway. No, I don't think they can cheat. You have to play so many more matches on Modo, and it's things that you notice more frequently on Modo. So, like, you just see the bad side of variance a little bit more. I think it's just easier to see the bad side of variance when you're playing Modo. Let's go ahead and play this. Gonna attack with the 3/3 kitties, but not the 4/4 kitty. And next turn we have a lethal attack. So next turn we have a lethal attack, and we can get approach. Well, I mean, keep in mind, I'm not saying that Modo's the same as real life. I'm saying, because like the Modo Shuffler's based on an algorithm, and it's not a true randomization like when you would sit down and play Paper Magic. So Modo is different than real life. So I'm not saying that it should mirror your real life results. But it is fair for both players, is what I'm trying to say. Like they're on the same shuffling algorithm that you're on. Which it will not be the same as real life, but like I'm saying, I don't think people cheat, but it's not the same as Paper Magic, but like it's fairly similar. But yeah, you will see more patterns and stuff. But I was just saying, like, I don't think they cheat. Like, you'll notice that, like, sometimes you'll start getting near a 1900 rating, and then you just, like, won't be able to draw lands for, you know, like 100 points of rating or whatever, no matter what you do. Or, like, you'll notice, alright, we'll keep this hand, it's not great. Or you can, like, notice that, sometimes it feels like every card you need for an entire night, that you, like, literally top deck that card on the spot. Like, just then, like, hitting that negate and stuff like that. But I think that's just things that you notice more when you're playing online compared to real life. Like, I think all that stuff happens in real life too. You just don't notice it as much. But yeah, if you compare just online to real life, the results won't be mimicked because the shuffling program is flawed. Like, hopefully Arena will have a better one. Alright, so the only thing that I know that would play Wooded Stream off the top of my head is like a Merfolk deck, and Merfolk decks are incredibly hard for us to beat. Your hardest matches when you're playing a deck like what we're playing right now are decks with super fast clocks and some kind of disruption, which is why it's why like sideboarded games of Teamer Energy was something that was considered hard because of the super fast clock plus the disruption. I think I just want to counterspell that. I want to be able to use this cast out on the turn that he plays Bristling Hydra, and I think this is what gives me the best opportunity to do that. So it looks like they're playing Pummeler, which isn't great, but it's not the worst. Yeah. Bristling Hydra could cause us some problems. Unfortunately, that has to resolve, and unfortunately, we have to use the cast out on it. We just don't have any options. Like, this is just forced play right now. We can try to figure out how to beat a Bristling Hydra later in the game. He just not even have one. That's a pretty good one. Alright. This seems to be one of these games where we don't draw a sweeper or anything. We just get crushed. Happens. Ooh, maybe it doesn't just happen. I do that in real life as well. I would rather draw too many land than too few land. I just want to be able to cast my spells. It's one of the most important things to me when I play Moto. Or when I play Magic in general. Or even like when I play games like Eternal. Like, I just want to cast my spells. That's all that matters to me. The opponent doesn't seem to have a particularly good draw, so I guess that's good. Willing to take just 4 damage if that's all he's attacking with. Don't want you. Do want you. Anybody who watches my stream can tell you firsthand that I get salty when I don't draw lands. I'm intelligent enough to know it's part of the game. And, like, it's going to happen. I mean, variance is part of Magic, but, like, I'll be the first to admit that, like, when I get to play a game and I lost because I didn't get to play my spells, I get pretty disgruntled. We'll take that hit, too. I won't even try to deny it. Like, I don't care to lose. I just want to be able to play. Don coming in with the salt. I just want to play. Is it so wrong to just want to play? There's an approach, but I don't actually think I can play the approach yet. JK. All of our worries are gone. We still have an Essence Scatter for the next ability. If they have main deck negate, we're screwed, but we could have waited and like just played a Glimmer and had Disallow up too. Excuse me, I apologize for clearing my throat. I just want to play, man. Look at the hater. Look at the hater. I'm going to wait a turn so we can hold up Essence Scatter. There's no real reason for us to wait this turn. Like, we had settled a wreckage for insurance regardless, but our opponent's not doing anything, and I just want to talk. I want to act like I'm intelligent. What do you guys think about Peace Salmons and the Hate Machine? Alright. Bring these in. Get rid of our flex cards. One search for Azcanta, and the last card is a damn mystery to me. I have no idea what to ever take out for the last card. I'm actually just going to take out all the search for Azcantas on the draw. I'm going to bring you back in. I want to try no searches for once. I was looking up my stats of this deck the other day because the OCS made me interested in that. And I went back and reviewed all of my VODs, and I've won 70% of my matches with this deck on Moto, yet people still say it's like trash. And they're probably right. They're probably not wrong, but like, I'm not going to stop playing a deck that I'm winning 70% with. Don't play a creature. That's a creature. Oh, that's a damn good creature. No. Feels like we're playing Old Standard again. Just like playing the same two decks even though there's bans now. It's kind of hilarious. Alright, deck. We want a Glacial Fortress. Hooty 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 hoo. Glacial Fortress. You can hear me, Moto. Lee, bless us with a Glacial Fortress, or I don't get any more graham crackers tonight. Would accept Island as well. Hell, I'd accept Rivulet. I'll take any land. He can even come into play tapped. I don't care. No, not another one of those. Can you see the hard work I did to stop the first one? Hey. Thank you, Lee. Appreciate it, man. You are the best. So he's missing lands. Whatever this is, I'm going to counterspell it. If it's a creature. I'll just take my slap from that and be sad. Uh-oh. We got a problem here, Lucy. Counterspell anything he plays. If he doesn't play anything, we're just going to use the cast out at end of turn to cycle. Rip. Wah, 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 wah. It's getting worse and worse. It's getting worse and worse. Can we just get 4 lands in a row? The hell is this? Are you killing me? I guess they just have, like a counterspell or something? Well, that's not good. Because they most assuredly have a counterspell, so even though we drew 3 rafts and literally everything, but... No negate? Alright, we did. It's good to know he has Spell Pierce, though. Alright, well that was pretty easy for our opponent to beat us that game. We put everything in the deck that we had to like help us draw lands too. Everything except for one opt. I'm just going to run it back. I don't think I want to change anything. Maybe I want another binding. Try one binding. Maybe I play two bindings. Also, me defense is such a slap in the face. Hell won't let me submit. Ah, there it goes. We didn't get the second binding in time. Alright, well, we're just going to struggle with lands, and that's okay. This is a very bad hand versus their deck. We have to get white mana, and we have to get sweepers. It's not a good sign. We put on bottom. Hopefully they at least put on bottom as well, so it's fair. Nope, they put on top. Why would they put on bottom? This game's going to be very hard to win. In fact, it may not even be winnable. Don't want to take any extra damage. No, I guess they could have no threats or something. Alright, you can have that. Look, Ma, we did it. Yeah, so they're currently on a 10-turn clock, assuming we hit 3 lands in a row. It's exactly where we want to be. It's just how we drew it up. So I guess they have a counter spell here. Rip. That card's not going to do any good for us this game. It's not very good in this match either. That card's also not going to do any good for us. They have a negate in case they have Hadana's Climb, I guess. That's Dumbo. Can't do anything about Dumbo. I feel like we've not really got to play Magic these games. If he doesn't have a counterspell, we could still draw a Settle or a Fumigate and be in. But honestly, him not having a counterspell seemed fairly low, though. Because he's not really adding anything to the board or going crazy. This is a 2-turn clock anyway. I guess he's not going to put the counter on it, so maybe it's not 2 turns. It's 2 turns if he adds anything else to the board, though. We can draw Settle now and pay for Spell Pierce, though. Or negate it if it's something better than Spell Pierce. Alright, well that's probably a bad sign. So that would technically make him lethal. I played that one instead of negate because it gives us the opportunity to potentially be able to cast a settle negate on the following turn. If he's got any creature though, we're just dead, so. Yeah, just dead. Nothing we can do. Can't bluff anything. Oh well, sometimes you lose. I think we were in a good spot both of those games if we just hit lands either of them. Part of Magic, though. Or sorry, had lands. Obviously, we hit lands after the mulligan, but like, you know what I meant. Like, we had to mulligan into that draw to get those lands. So I've kind of misspeaking. We did have lands that game, but we had the mulligan to get there, which already puts us pretty far behind. Hey, we didn't win. We didn't win the dash row. This hand's keepable. It's not great. You can't mulligan hands like this. You wish you could, but unfortunately you just can't. Oh, looks like we probably should have. Mono Red's our match that we just never win. Especially in game ones. And we're going to get punished by a rivulet this game. Oh, it's not Mono Red. Hot damn. So you're saying there's a chance. Or you're saying that's the second best card in Standard versus me. You just play sweepers, basically. Have 4 Essence Scatters, 3 Settles, 3 Fumigates, like. You just basically kind of ignore them and just play those spells. You have to make sure that you don't use your spells at a poor time and like let some kind of Ronus trick kill you, but other than that, it's not that bad. So you can use the Essence Scatter or the Censor here. We have 2 draw steps to find the land, so I guess I'll Censor and save the Essence Scatter. I think that's one of the easiest matches in Standard, though. I know people like Brandon DeCandio disagree with me. I think that and Blue-Black Control are probably the 2 easiest matches in Standard for this deck. Oh, Black-White Tokens is pretty easy, too. Every Black-White token deck, though, has Lost Legacies in the side, so you at least like have to do some thinking. He's just going to get to draw all the cards he wants of this game. There's really not a lot I can do about that. Could have kept the cast out, but like, and then if we just don't hit the land, or if he has like Supreme Will, like we get max punished. Cards that are good, hard to beat are cards like Beaumont Courier and Glint that just give them value upon value, or like cards that can win in one turn. You're not really worried about a 4-drop or a 5-drop attacking you for 4 or 5 more turns. Turns out we wouldn't have hit the land, by the way. We'd have hit the opt, so it was not punishing at all for us. Be nice if this resolves. Mostly because I need to find another white at some point. I don't too much care about him counterspelling. It's just He doesn't get to draw, so that at least is a good thing. At some point we have to find something to kill the glint, probably. Yeah. Do you have a second main deck counterspell? Apparently you do have a second main deck counterspell. That's already pretty rare. You don't see that a lot. I think I'm going to cycle that one. Like, we actually really need something at this point. We're pretty far behind. I know it's the 7th land for a theoretical approach, but we don't have the approach yet. And there's no guarantee we're even going to draw the approach anytime soon, so... Right now we're struggling to even beat the board. And if he's playing that many Supreme Wills, he's probably on a Gearhulk build as well. Definitely didn't want to see another land there. Whatever this is, we're going to counterspell it. With the more expensive counterspell here, because if we do draw like a cast out or something, we can essence scatter the next play as well. No, no cast out, just another counterspell. I'd be happy just to find an Effort Meltdown here. Yep, now they're at the Gearhulk stage of the game, so we probably can't win. Really needed to deal with the glint before this point. Guess they're still casting things? Alright, well, we can beat spells. Oh, what fun it is to have to fumigate a glint sleeve siphoner. It did its work. Can't say it didn't do its work. Now we have 2 hard counter spells. Nobody's gonna tell you old Glenny didn't do nothing. Alright, we have to counterspell that. On power alone, that's the best card in standard. Obviously, like, it doesn't go in every deck and everything. Actually, I guess we could draw a land. Can't cast Gearhulk right now is the main reason I'm doing this now. Just gonna put both on bottom. And now we get to play airs. Hopefully airs will resolve. We're not in that great a shape. We're at 8 life. They have 5 cards in their hand. Can't really counterspell that, can I? Because if they just have another spell, we die. If they just have like a Scarab God, we die. Whereas it takes that 4 turns to kill us, so like we have some opportunities to like get it off the table somehow. Whee! If we win this game, I'm going to be impressed with our little deck. Now we have a cast out for the next spell they can resolve. So Gearhulk's the one card we're super worried about at the moment. Less worried about it. We'll cycle that one. So we're just going to pass. I wouldn't play an approach this turn even if I hit it with Ascanthus while we're not using it. Alright, he tapped these two first, so this is probably the Gearhulk that we've been talking about so much. To make sure we don't die to another one, but all things are looking up right now. What do we got? A cast out. Dreader, cycle Uve, and a cast out. We're over 30 cards deep. Dreader, cycle Uve, and a cast out. Another search. Oh, friend. Alright, so we know it's currently 7 cards down. Gotta keep track of all these numbers. We're at 16 life. That can't kill us quick enough, so we're going to ignore it. He's also tapped low enough that we can use Ascanta this turn, which is nice. I tapped my mana stupidly, by the way, just trying to be fast. I shouldn't have tapped the Rivulets here. So anyway, this is 4 cards, so it's 3 cards down after that. Two cards down. Untap. One card down, and this will be the approach. And this will be able to pay for Supreme Will. I can't believe we won that game. That's insane. How the hell long did that Glint Siphoner beat on us? I guess nobody actually cares, but I'm just curious how long that Glint Siphoner beat on us. Nobody cares. I don't know. Glint Siphoner beat on us for a bit. Alright, sideboarding. So sideboarding's a lot different versus these decks. It depends on what build of the deck they're playing, but overall I like trying to bring in Nezahal. I like trying to bring in this little dude, and I actually like all of these cards as well. Again, these are our flex cards. They're one of the first things you always sideboard out. Effer Meltdowns are cards you don't really need in this match. They're only very good versus Glint Siphoner, and the Glint Siphoner's card draws is more relevant. I gotta scratch my eye one moment, guys. Sorry. Sorry about that. Something was in my eye. Depending on what creature threats you think they have, sometimes you can cut a few Fumigate, or sometimes you can cut a Settle. But overall, I don't really like to cut those cards. Cutting Sensors on the draw is okay. Not having the extra cyclers actually gives you a few issues that sometimes you run into mana, but that's just a cost of, or mana problems. But like I said, that's just kind of a cost of playing the deck. Like, they can become as controlling as you. So you basically sideboard versus them like you would a blue-black deck, or a blue-black control deck. But because they have Glints and World of Virtuosos, it's like hard for you to remove every one of your settle slash fumigate slash etc's. Don't know what the last card is. Like I said, versus blue black, you take out some number of these cards. Versus the newer, like Gonti, the newer, not the newer Gonti, but like the more updated Gonti slash Glint slash Whirler slash Scarab builds, like the non-Phoenix, non-Glorybringer builds that everybody was trying, like your Fumigates and Settles both gain some value in this match. I think overall I'd rather get rid of one Settle. It's worse. It's better versus Scarab God and better versus Torrential Gearhulk, but worse versus everything else in the deck because giving them lands actively hurts you. Could just be to search for Azcanta. But I feel like if you resolve a search for Azcanta, you can like keep up with a Glint. The Sensors need to come back in onto play, which is an issue, because being able to counterspell to turn 2 play is pretty relevant. I do not know where my phone is, and I feel naked without it. As you guys can see, the cool thing about this approach deck is it just feels like it wins game ones so often. Oh, cool. Thank you. Thank you, eBay. I appreciate you. Alright, well, we have to keep. We have a potential turn 2 search for Azcanta. Though, because we have all of these spells, we might not would play a turn 2 search for Azcanta here. We might would save this to try to not just get crushed by a Whirler Virtuoso. All depends on what he does on 2. Like if he plays a Glint on 2, like we hard slam the search for Azcanta and just try to keep up with him. If he doesn't play a Glint on 2, we probably hold up to search for Azcanta. Or sorry, hold up Descent Scatter. Basically, if he plays a 2-drop, we play this. If he doesn't play a 2-drop, we don't. That's the too long didn't read version, or didn't listen version. Too long, didn't listen, didn't care. There's a swamp, and there's his own search for Azcanta. So we'll try to mirror him. The Whirler Virtuoso isn't likely to kill us anyway, but like it's not something you ever want them to have. And we'll aggressively put cards in our graveyard. Pretty much anything that's not a land goes to the graveyard in most of these spots. Lands, unfortunately, we have to keep because we need to make about 1 million of these land drops. Not sure how I feel about the Fopter. So they don't need land, they just need action. Red Rover, Red Rover. We'll put that land in the graveyard. I think he would have used a negate to protect this, so I would rather try to get the search for Azcanta off the field while we can. And if he untaps for an Ixalan's bind or a Scarab God or something, we still have the Ixalan's binding. Alright, wow, he did not protect his Glint Siphoner, which is the card I consider best in his deck versus me. That blows my actual mind. Wow. Huh. Actually blows my mind, like I just said. Actually puts us in a weird spot, even. We need him to brick twice now? Wow, you attacked with them all. That's so crazy to me. Alright, so we really want to draw a land here. What are we looking at? Pretty much anything but a land goes in the graveyard. Alright, feeling pretty decent. If we get out of this turn alive, we're probably a favorite to win. Though obviously things could happen. Planes to the graveyard. Yes, just trying to get Azcanta flipped at this point. We want to hold up the disallow and the negate here, so. Gonti has to be counterspelled, unfortunately. So we can keep anything that we see here if we choose. And that's a cast out. Do we want to cast out? I think we actually do want to cast out. As odd as it sounds, I think it protects our life total the most. Don't know why I pressed F6, like we're obviously not F6ing here. Maybe I didn't want this because we can't use the Azcanta this turn or the Glimmer. And those might have been important spells. I shouldn't have flipped Azcanta either. I did bad math. Alright. Wouldn't mind to actually hit a land here, so I think I'm going to cast a Glimmer instead of using the Azcanta. Actively wanting him to use negate, so I'd rather him use a negate now than like worry about it later. I did want a land, but I don't want that land. Alright, well we only have 2 negates, so we're going to have to find something with this Azcanta. Probably should have actually used Azcanta during the upkeep there. That might have been a mistake, because now if he hits a Gear Hulk, it's like kind of awkward. Disallow, Glimmer. We're going to take the disallow because, like I said, I'm starting to worry about Gear Hulks and stuff. With our life total being 5. I'll figure out this Fopter sometime. So he knows we have that. Goodbye. Goodbye, or does it disallow? We found you right on time, friend. Friendo. Oh, we're getting pretty hurt here. We're down to 4. Don't really want that. Did you see that extra long pause there? Did they finally get a gear hook? There's another disallow, so they don't know about that disallow. Alright. Well, back to the well we go of trying not to play a spell. We're at 3. There's an approach and there's a settle. 4, 7, 8, 9. So how many lands do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So you can only play 2 counter spells, and he's got 4 cards. I almost would just rather have the settle, but I don't think I can afford to take the settle. Hey Heath, what's up? Currently getting beat on. We don't appreciate it. Alright, that card was a good draw. Hey Heath, thank you so much, man. Highly appreciate that. For those who don't know, Heath just top 8 at the Grand Prix, which was pretty sweet. With the Blue-Blacks controls. I think there's a lot of things that can beat us right now. So like I'm trying to be a little more cautious than I normally would. Just won the PPTQ I played in? Wow, congratulations, man. How many rounds was the PPTQ? Alright, did we finally cast it? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So we can play it in 2 of these, but I would rather try to wait till we can get the disallow up. Congratulations, man. That means we're not going to see you at any PPTQs then for a while. You're setting up, man. You're getting close to just going off. 6 rounds, cut to top 8. I guess we're going to take the second approach, or are we going to take the Essence Scatter? We're going to take the Essence Scatter. Like, I feel like this game's just over, and I feel like the only way it's not over at this point is if we let them resolve something. And I just don't think there's any reason to let them resolve anything. Like, slow and steady will win this race. It'll win this race pretty easily. What'd you play in the final or versus in the finals? So Apollo's kind of doing what we wanted him to do. He's getting the cards out of his hand and making this easier for us. I don't even want that. Just in case we need the deck film, I'll leave that in. The mirror. Very cool. So 1, 2, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. We do have the Essence Scatter now, so we can disallow and negate. I'm fine with playing it then, now. As long as I can play 2 counter spells when I play it, I don't mind to play it. And we have the Fumigate for backup in case they do get a threat through. We do have to end the game at some point too, because they could just have Nezahal in the deck. Alright, well, 3-1. I felt like we could win this game, but we didn't. Who are you taking to the RPTQ with you? Like, do you have a team of people that you test with down in that area? Ugh. I don't think we can keep this hand. I think our average hand's better than that. Alright. Good mulligan. Pat ourselves on the back. Actually going to keep the opt as well. Mono red. No! We dead. We dead AF, fam. Sorry about yelling into the mic. I was overcome with grief because I thought we could 4-1, but no. No, and double Beaumont? But that's like the best card in Standard versus us. This is the best card in Standard versus our deck. Glint Sieve Siphoner's the second best, and Lost Legacy's the third best. And they got triple 1-drop. Well, this keeps getting better and better. I think I've actually heard the name Cody Napier before. Oh boy. No more, please. Leave us alone. Stop casting spells. Just stop casting spells, Brother Bear. Don't you do it. Don't you dare play another 1-drop. Ah, God, it's 4 1-drops. Not a lot, Boot. We're currently experiencing our opponent giving us hemorrhoids. Yeah. 1 minute ago, Boot to the Head hosted me for 12 viewers. Thank you so much, Boot. What would you play today? I noticed an Hour of Promise in your hand when I lurked in on you, but I wasn't exactly sure what the deck was. I was doing the eBay work at the time, so I wasn't around for a long time. What do you do for me? You do nothing. What do you do for me? You do nothing. Hey, we drew 4 cards that were sideboarding out. That's always fun, when you draw 4 cards that you're about to sideboard out. There's a lot of matches we'd be very excited to draw these 4 cards. I'll give you one guess if this is one of those. Spoiler, it's not. Please no Lightning Strike. Alright, we got this. This is just 9 lands they're about to draw. My opponent's not going to know that they can hold control. That's the ticket. My opponent's not going to know that they can hold control. The 5th card I'm going to sideboard out. That's how bad this match is for you, by the way. You draw all your powerful spells, and they suck. You don't know you can hold control. You don't know what the control button does. Well, that's just rude. You couldn't let me have one life? Wait! Oh, never mind. He didn't hold control! He didn't hold control! Oh my god, he picked wrong too! He drew the one that gave him 3 mountains. If he'd drawn that second, we would have been in great shape. I need to actually start getting into Modern. Budakov showed me that Boggles can win, and now I just want a Boggles. Boggles! Don't you do it, opponent. You don't have anything else. If he's got 4 cards, and they're not creatures, oh god, that's real bad for us, isn't it? So we need to draw Settled Wreckage now. You can do it, Settled Wreckage. That's not a Settled Wreckage. We dead. Maybe our opponent won't know that we're dead. Opponent, I hear that you really just want to do the Macarena. No. Oh. We did. Alright. So we want all of our white cards, and we basically don't want any of our blue cards. Get in here, white cards. Get out of here, blue cards. We have more blue cards to take out than white cards to bring in. Well, that's unfortunate. That's just unfortunate. You can get out of my deck too. Alright. Hey Dong, thank you for the 3 biddies. Come on, deck. You can do it, deck. A 40 on turn 1. The problem with winning game 2 is we gotta win game 3 on the draw if we win game 2. Do you know how hard it is to beat red deck wins on the draw? Ooh, boy, we almost got there. We're still keeping it. Alright, this hand's a good hand. As long as he doesn't go wider than F. As long as he doesn't go wide AF, this hand's a good hand. It's a pretty good hand even if he does go wide AF. Yep, I am a firm believer that I do not think Hulk's is particularly good in this deck. Which, if you listen to anybody else, makes me psychotic. I've been called worse things. We have a bunch of lands, so I think I'm actually just going to keep this cast out. There's a good chance that we'll be able to get it on like a Phoenix, Chandra, Hazard, or maybe even this Beaumont Courier. If he develops a couple more threats, we might cycle it looking for something on the following turn, but just not this turn. JK, we're just never cycling it now. Have this meltdown if he ever plays something that actually hurts. I guess we'd play it on like a Cropper if he played a Cropper this turn. No Cropper? Rude. I'm probably going to cast out at the end of his turn. Maybe I should do it now because of the Beaumont. If I do it now and he just plays Chandra though, we're like in some pretty serious trouble. Maybe I just settled wreckage here, who knows. Oh, wow. He's going to do that? Okay. You can have your Fumigate. I'm more worried about your Beaumont courier. Yeah, I've been told I'm crazy before. Just casually ignore Hazard. We'll figure it out later. That's a future problem. He's still got 3 cards in his hand. He's not playing a land this turn. That's future problem. Oh no, we're dead. Well, he wasn't hoping for that. He's really going to attack with this? Does that mean he has another in hand or something? Alright, you can do it. How did you know I didn't? Oh, you just... Never mind. Ignore me. You can do it, deck. One time. That's not doing it. That's kind of doing it. Alright, well that Chandra has become a problem now. Official problem, Chandra. He's got this, and he's got this, so like it's going to be hard for us to do anything with the cat. Oh, they just don't have anything else. That's unfortunate. Alright, well we don't have an option. We have to play this and hope that it can do something. The odds of it doing anything, by the way, are incredibly low. Like there's a good chance he just has like an abrade or something in his hand. So that means we're going to have like 5 outs and some redraws to deal with this, or the game's just over maybe. Five outs and a few redraws. Rip. Yeah, that's game. We're dead. We're not dead. He ticked down on Chandra. We win! We win! Okay, we don't win. I mean, it's still a good amount of damage, but... like, we now no longer care what happens. This was a bad play, by the way. I forgot that I had Effer Meltdown in my hand. I should have just Meltdowned it and held up the Essence Scatter in case he drew Hazard. Like, that was an awful play. This is the type of play that could actually cost me a game. Luckily for us, it's not going to, I hope. JK. Yeah. Wait. I uploaded my deck. What the hell? Why is that like that? I uploaded my deck. The top link works. I'm positive. Why is the bottom link not working? What did I misclick? The bottom link should work now. I've redid it. It should have worked to begin with. My opponent keeps confusing me. Yeah. I was typing pure BS to somebody on Facebook about sitting around the house and eating shrooms and watching documentaries with a person who's never even been to my house. My opponent drew a lot of lands this game. That feels great. That we almost lost even though they drew 700 lands. Hey, Shaolin, thank you for the follow. Get. Like I said, I was just joking. The guy I was talking about's never even been to my home. I've never did a shroom, and I don't just sit around and watch documentaries all day. However, I do enjoy a documentary occasionally, depending on the subject matter. They were my Facebook chat is having a conversation about the Oscar winner for documentaries tonight or whatever. I had to chime in. Right, well, I don't think I changed anything from the sideboard to the draw. I basically just hope to have a turn 1 or 2 authority again, and that they have a very medium draw, and that's practically all I can do. Just why this match is terrible for me, but occasionally we can win. I hard pass on doing anything that's not beyond healthy for myself. My body is my temple, man. Hey, we keep. Okay, wasn't a Beaumont courier. Step 1. Step 1 complete. Now we need not a Karizev. Not a Beaumont courier. Not a Beaumont courier was good. No 2-drop would be great. Alright, that's the worst 2-drop. Okay. That's fine. We're still in this. Think I would rather counterspell his turn 3 play than play an authority. It says only bad if he's got like a 1-drop and a 2-drop. I don't eat chocolate either, so. Unfortunately, we have to counterspell that. If he's got a 1-drop, we're really sad. If he doesn't have a 1-drop, we're not super sad, though. Alright, we're moving into the stage of the game where maybe we'll get some Fumigates down and maybe a cast out. Can't be super sad about this. There you go, opponent. Do whatever you want. I don't have Slash of Talons. I just want to press F6. Ooh! Ooh! It's getting more exciting. We're getting more and more of a chance. Alright, back to 11. If we draw an untapped land next turn, we'll probably take this game. If we don't draw an untapped land, we're probably super dead. Alright, this is an important turn. Can we do it, family? Interesting. Now there's decisions to be made. Pretty sure I just fumigate on this first one. Go back to 11. He's going to drop us back down to 6. Assuming that like all 3 cards in his hand aren't things that he wants to play. I didn't have the island. Alright, so we're in bad trouble now. He had the lightning strike to go with it and a 2-drop. That was basically worst case. Alright, so we have to play this now. Because we have to be able to start gaining some life. It was rather unfortunate. Lots of things kill us. Oh god, that cast out feels good, doesn't it, guys? Does that cast out not feel good? Think we have to attack with both cats still? So we can attack with everything. He's probably going to make us discard something. And then we cast out. It's because I felt like I needed I felt like I needed 5 mana on turn 5. But you could have been right. So I think we do this and see if he discards a Hazoret. He's going to get the first strike one of these, but we're going to get to deal 2 damage. Maybe attacking with this was bad. So we have to dodge a burn spell this turn. Burn spell just kills us, but burn spell killed us. Burn spell didn't kill us if I'd left this up. Attacking with this was a play mistake. I just wasn't paying enough attention. I should not have attacked with this card. Too many things kill us now that I've attacked with this card. I'm not sure what the right play is now. I'm pretty sure just staying on defense about has to be the right play. I don't think I want to fumigate. If he'd had a burn spell, he'd have killed us. What the hell's in his hand then? It's not lands. It's not burn spells. What the crap is it? Is it like Glorybringers? And if it's just Glorybringers, it could just be like a 1/1/2 that he doesn't want to bother with. I almost want to fumigate then. He could just not want to cast creatures. Like, it could be a peer or something. He doesn't want to give me 4 life. Like, he discarded this Pia. What would he have kept over this Pia that didn't kill us? Could let him have this and then play Fumigate? Interesting. If we let him have that and then we play Fumigate, we don't have anything to protect from these? Alright, whatever. Think I'm going to counterspell it. He's got 2 Earthshaker Kenras in his graveyard. Think I'm going to counterspell it because of the 2 Earthshaker Kenras. That one wasn't what I wanted to draw. Could draw another cat here. I really want to attack. Whatever. I'm just going to pass. Double burn spell still kills us, but I think we die to land Earthshaker the other way. Alright, so we gain our 2 life here, which is fine. We don't even have to block if we don't want. We just take 2 and attack for 5 and hold up settle. I'm going to cycle this one. There's our land. So I'm going to cast Fumigate this turn because of the land. Well, I mean, I don't have spells. It's pretty hard for me to give him turns. Or pretty hard for me not to give him turns. We go back to 10 here. Whatever he plays puts us at least 12. We have settle for the good spells. So like if he has a Hazard or a Chandra, could be annoying. So that goes to 12. We go to 19 on this spell. We know it's 7 cards down, and we have a settle and 19 life. And an Rivulet. If he adds anything else to the board, we gain more life. This should be it. It's 2 more life for us. And we can always just draw approach as well. So we now know it's 6 cards down. Which means we can settle this turn, disallow anything he plays, and then he only gets 1 more attack step. There's a good chance he concedes when we do this. Pretty good chance that he concedes. Oh, nope, he's getting his land, so I guess he's not conceding. Alright, real good chance he concedes now. Alright, so it's 5 cards down now. So this is his last turn of the game. Alright, 4-1. We beat Mono Red. It is a beatable match now, unlike before. It used to just not be beatable. It's obviously not a good match. Our opponent obviously got pretty unlucky there, but it is a beatable match now. The match we lost to was just blue-green Pummeler, which I felt that we had, or I thought we had a good chance to win that game too. We beat a pretty good mix of decks today. We beat Mono Red. We beat Grixis. We lost to like a random Pummeler list. I don't even remember what the other 2 matches were. To be honest, the league's just going on so long that I don't remember. I have no memory anymore. So we beat Grixis. We beat Pummeler. Oh, we beat Sultai Snake, Hadana's Climb, which people are calling that a very tier 1 deck right now as well. So, did we play versus all real decks then? Except for the Pummeler, which was the 1 deck that beat us? Oh yeah, and the black-white vampire deck, yeah. So we played versus a lot of reasonable decks tonight. I didn't make any changes, BBC. I actually made my deck worse versus them, but now that they don't have access to Rampaging Ferocitodon and Ramunap runes, it's winnable. You're still a dog. You are not favored. But like the match Buttons, thank you for the host. You showed up right when I'm logging out. So it's not that we got better versus Mono Red. I mean, we did, but we did it inversely because Mono Red got worse. So like when it used to be like a 75 to 80% favorite, it's now just like a 60 to 65% favorite. So like you still never want to play it, but it's something you can beat. We just went 4-1, Geo. Oh good, I don't have to watch approach. Yeah, we just went 4-1. We beat Grixis, we beat Sultai Snake, we beat Mono Red, and we beat the black-white Jack Kiefer vampire deck, and we got crushed by a blue-green Pummeler deck. which I don't think is that bad of a match, but we didn't draw lands in game 2, and in game 3 we mulliganed and kind of drew all lands, but like, that's part of Magic. But I don't think that's a particularly great match, but like, it's like reasonable. Yeah, I had a big argument in match chat the other day about approach stats. So I went back to my VODs, so like everything that I'm saying has been physically streamed. And just since Ixalan, I've played the deck 24 times on stream, and I have a 70% win rate with it. And that's including pre-ban, when like Red Deck Wins was everywhere. So like, I was told, quote unquote, that's physically impossible, but like, I literally have proof on YouTube that I did it. Like, the deck's not as bad as people saying it. Like, the deck's actually reasonable. Our opponent played a turn 2 glint sleeve on us, the Grixis opponent, hit us with it for like 4 or 5 turns, drew a bunch of cards, and still just immediately got destroyed. Yeah, Matt had told us to stop chatting about it, and I wanted to explain to that guy why I didn't understand, or why I didn't believe in certain testing data. So, like, I went to private chat with it, and then he brought it back up. Hey, Dodger. But yeah, like, I typically don't believe in testing data for a lot of reasons. Like, when you just take, like, 10,000 randoms versus 10,000 randoms, like, you're going to have really weird results. But, like, to say blue-black mid-range doesn't beat blue-black control because like 7 mediocre players or 1,000 mediocre players can't win with it doesn't necessarily mean that's true. If somebody like Brad or Corey can just win with it versus, you know, people that are as good as them on the other deck routinely. Oh yeah, I said hi. I said hi, Dodge. I called you Dodger, but yeah, I said hi. Doge Lord, I see your name better now. Don't get me wrong, I'm not telling people they should play this deck. There's way the hell too much mono red in the format. This deck does not beat mono red. That's just all they are to it. This deck does not beat mono red. If this deck does not beat mono red, I don't think this is a deck you should take to a relevant tournament. But I don't think it's that bad. It has a lot of good matchups as well. I would never play this deck if I felt I needed the top 8 or get first in a tournament, but if it's a tournament like a Pro Tour or something, to where like going 7-3 could get me in my 11-5 and bring me back, and on a good day, like on a good day, I'm going to get 9-2 and, you know, top 16 or better with it. This is the type of deck I'd play all day in that type of field. You do not play this deck in a field that you need to get first, though. Fair enough, Eve. But I was just using that as an example. Like I was just using that as an example. I didn't mean it. I didn't mean it as like fact or fiction. I didn't mean that match an example. I just meant like I just don't trust what the masses do. Especially, I don't trust what the masses say when it comes to this deck. Because, like, my builds are pretty different than other people's decks. Like, I'm the only person I know that doesn't play, like, Gearhulk and stuff like that. And I think those matches, or I think Gearhulks make you a significant dog versus Grixis and all the blue-black decks. That's the specific reason I don't play them, is I think they make you worse versus blue-black base decks. But yeah, I just don't believe in certain testing results. I don't care what 50,000 matches of random people versus random people say is all I'm trying to say. Immortal in what match? Cause it changes a lot. Like there's several matches where you take out censors. There's several matches where you take out disallows, and then the gates and essence scatters come in and out differently based on different matches. This is my pre-board configuration, yeah. As of just right now, I think Essence Scatter's beyond good in this current format, so I've went on up to 3 of them. Apparently my mouse has got food in it or something because it's not wanting to move. Come on, mouse. What the hell? Yeah, it's moving now. But anyway, I think I've rambled enough and nobody wants to listen to me ramble, so I'm going to find somebody to host. Hopefully somebody that's playing Standard. And then we're going to hop out of here. Who's playing Standard? Hey, there's a blue-black control player. Oh no, Sparrow's on. We're going to just host Sparrow. I didn't see him on. What the hell? I follow him. Why the hell did it not show up? I want the fourth saddle. I just don't have room for it until I find a way to work the fourth essence scatter in the main, and then I'd run the saddle on the side. But right now, with the Sandblack's token deck running around so much, that I really want the fourth saddle just for the moment. But like, I change several cards almost every league. Like the last league we played, we had 4 Baffling Ends in the deck. You just have to try to keep ahead of the meta anytime you're playing a semi-controlling deck. Like, what's good one week's not necessarily good the next week when it comes to these decks. I'd like to find room for a 3rd Field of Ruin as well. Or, like, maybe 1 Scavenging Grounds, but probably a Field of Ruin. Anyway, thank you guys for coming out tonight. We went 4-1. We beat some Tier 1/2 decks. We beat the Black-White Kiefer Suncrested Mare Vampire deck, which I actually think is a very good deck. We beat a Grixis mid-range deck. We beat Red Deck Wins. And even though I just said it a second ago, I've already forgot what we beat round 1. It's beyond aggravating me that I can't remember it. Oh, the Sultai Snake. Derp. And we got crushed by a green-blue Pummeler deck. But anyway, I'm going to host Sparrow because he's our good buddy, but in all honesty, I don't watch Limited, so I'm probably going to go watch the blue-black player myself. Thanks for stopping by, Heath, and thank you so much for the follow, Heath. This deck needs... Yes, it does. Oh, God. You give me either of those cards, and this deck will just crush those decks. But take care, everybody. I appreciate you all for coming by. Thank you for the host buttons. And take care, everybody. We outie. Let's go do our work. Let's go do our eBay work for tonight.